Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, here for the US Grand Prix, the fourth to last round of the championship I believe, and we're hoping to get a decent result here, sort of boost our way towards the top half of the championship, get a few more points, help out in the Constructors. Gotta be honest, I don't remember where we are in the Constructors. This has been maybe 2 months since I last recorded, or since this race was actually done, so God knows what's going to happen, so it's going to be a surprise to me too. But we're here in qualifying, doing our first run in Q1, do a 1:30.3, pretty decent lap time, but we're going to need to go out again just to secure our position inside Q2. So we're going to go on board a lap here of the US Grand Prix, brake in quite late into turn 1 as it's an uphill slope. Second gear round, short shift through third and fourth, get a decent run going through the S's. Now we've got to be careful of the track limits going through here, so we flow the car nicely. Car felt really stable this weekend. US is not my best track on the entire calendar, but the car felt nice through here, so it did help a lot, making sure to miss all of the curbs because the track limits here are absolutely atrocious. So we're flying the car through the S's now, going down, get a good braking point for this corner because the exit is key. We're on really wide, missing the apex, so we have a big snap of oversteer. So that 1.5 tenths we've gained, we're just going to lose all the way down this back straight. So we're going to have to try and make it up in the third and final sector. We're currently in P60 now, one position away from the danger zone. I believe our teammate is just ahead of us in the standings, or in the qualifying session actually. Anyway, go through the final sections now. This triple or double left-hander is pretty difficult corner for braking and acceleration, but we get a nice run out there. We're currently up on our time by just over 10, throwing it through the quadruple right-hander, then throw into the final two corners. These two corners are amazing in an F1 car. Just throw it through there and throw it into the final corner as well. Run a bit wide, but we can track extend on the exit, and we come across the line to do a 1:30.2 I believe, and that gets us 15th place, so we are into Q2, which is a good start. I don't expect to be anywhere near the front. In qualifying, it's USA, it's not my strongest track, and it's a pretty weak track for the place. You can see my teammate's actually in P11, so he looks pretty set to maybe even challenge for a top 10 position this race, this qualifying rather. Didn't look at who was out, but I believe it's the usual suspects. I believe Daniel Ricciardo maybe got knocked out, but I didn't fully check. So we're going to go out now on a set of, actually no, we're not going to go out. We're going to save the set of soft tyres for the race. See my teammate nearly getting through into Q3. The Renault's and McLaren's been knocked out, which is a bit of a surprise. But yes, we decided to not go out because I want to do the 2-stop. I believe it's going to be faster. We're going to start on the mediums, I believe, which allows us to either run to the hards at the end of the race or go double soft. Either is a viable strategy. It also does help us in the race. Our race pace is definitely going to be a lot better than qualifying, but I didn't want to waste a set of soft tyres to qualify like 14th or 15th or even 16th. I just didn't see the point. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to put in some fresh engine components. I made the mistake of not doing this after practice, so we're going to have to unfortunately take some grid penalties doing this. In hindsight, I should have probably taken completely fresh engine components, but I do have a plan for the coming episodes. I know I definitely took fresh engine components, I believe, in Mexico, but let's get ready for the start of round 19 for season 1, the US Grand Prix.
Circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. The latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside the great city of Austin. This is a 3.6-mile lap with 20 corners, 10 each to the left and to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Red. They're in for a tough race today. They'll be starting out of position due to a penalty from earlier in the weekend.
Yes, it's not the position you want to be in at the start of the Grand Prix. Penalties like this put you in amongst the traffic. But we know they have more those around them, so I expect they'll make some strong progress in the first few laps.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel, and Perez, Albon, Fiat, Ocon, and Lando Norris, Sainz, Gasly, Roman Grosjean, and Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Lance Stroll, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, Aitken, Latifi, and Red. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So, as you can see, Jack also taking a 10-place grid penalty for a engine component change or a gearbox change. So unfortunately his good qualifying session has been a bit undone, which is rather disappointing because Jack, at least his race pace is pretty poor. So good qualifying could have maybe potentially gotten him a point or even like a decent position outside the top 10. But we're getting ready for the start of the race now. We're going to start the mediums and then go double soft to the end of the race. Like I said, we do have an option to go to the hards if there's a safety car around lap 5 or 6. Conversely, if there's a safety car later on in the race, we can go to softs. So I just think starting on the mediums is a better strategy. You see that I'm just playing around with it at this point. Just figure out what's best. And we're going to end up putting, I think, go positive on fuel. USA, it's a relatively high fuel wear track. Obviously you've got the S's, saves you quite a lot of fuel, but I usually run lower gears through there, so that does burn a lot of fuel, or at least more fuel, as you can see there. The one stop and the two stop is pretty similar. I just feel the two stop would be more beneficial because I believe the AI are definitely going to do a two stop. Running 0.7 of a lap over on fuel, actually running 1.7 laps of fuel over. This has been so long, I don't even know what's happened. But anyway, we've run away for the race. Absolutely butchering this commentary because it is midnight because I decided to waste my day. And we're going to go this side of literally everybody going into turn 1. We did get a pretty shocking initial getaway being on the mediums, but then again we made up 4 positions going into the first corner because the AI just started to clump together. And we did unfortunately get a warning, which I think is pretty bold given that, you know, it's turn 1 on lap 1, but whatever, it's Codemasters. See, I actually get hit at the inside of Giovinazzi, I think it was, tried an audacious little look up the inside there in a position that really doesn't offer much overtaking opportunities. You can see here from the onboard. He has a look to the inside and he sort of, it's odd when you slow it down, his car sort of lurches forward, almost like he comes off the brake and hits the accelerator again, and you see twitching the wheel. So he was far enough back that I was going to close the door. He wasn't alongside me, but his AI or driver reacted really weird as I nearly ploughed into the back of Magnussen there. We actually found the outside of it. That was a pretty unorthodox move as well. But yeah, that's just a bit weird AI car control from Giovinazzi there, which didn't harm us, so I guess I'm not really too bothered about it. So we're going to dive up the inside of Stroll here, maybe, unfortunately. We're not far enough alongside him, so he keeps the position for now. Open to P17, so it's been a pretty decent opening 2 sectors here. Hopefully try and gain a few more positions. I know that the AI are going to be pretty strong for these first 3 to 4 laps. After that, the softs will start to die off massively, so it's going to have to be a game of tactics here, whether I decide to let Magnussen go and cling on to the back of him, or whether I actually have the pace to keep up with Stroll, or even try and progress through the field. If I can progress through the field on the mediums, that'll definitely be it'll be very helpful to us. But then again, they are on softs, and the tyre advantage around here is rather noticeable, given its high. I would say it's not really a high downforce track anymore, but it does require a lot of work from the tyres. So we'll move on to lap 2 now, and we're trying to hold on to Stroll because he's so much faster through these for the S sections. Unfortunately, we haven't lost a massive amount of time. We've only gone down to a second because there's a yellow flag in front of us. Then Kvyat's out of the session. Stroll brakes, I believe, to avoid Raikkonen and Grosjean. and that's basically a free position for us. And that's sort of the turning point now. Getting past Stroll is it's going to help us out a lot here, because now I'm a lot closer to Raikkonen and to Grosjean ahead. And lap 4 is the point as we get a massive snap of oversteer. We're actually going to lose the position to Stroll once again. So that was a bit unfortunate. But now is the point where we are we're going to start feeling the effects of the medium, or they're going to start feeling the effects of tyre wear. The mediums are going to start coming into their own. You can see we've got DRS and overtake on Stroll. We're going to try and look to the outside around here, pinch the air on the inside is always probably the easiest way to get past them, as they don't like it all too much. And we're going to have the inside for the next right-hander, and we're just going to squeeze him out if he decides to fight it. Luckily he doesn't. It saves us both time. We're back up into P15. As you can see, there's a massive cluster of cars up the road and sort of a big DRS train. There's a bit of an air gap between Grosjean, I believe it's a Renault out in front. But stuffing all too bad as we get a massive snap of oversteer once again, being a bit too greedy on the throttle. Come out the final corner now. Stroll is going to go for a move. We aggressively move to the left to try and cover him off, but unfortunately he does get up the inside of us. We're going to try and do the switch back, but unfortunately his soft tyres are still proving pretty fresh at this point, or at least better than the mediums, so maybe some tyre upgrades on the racing point. Is now on lap 8. This is going to be the point where the soft runners start pitting, and indeed they do. That's going to promote us up into P12. I expect we'll be running maybe P6 at the end of their pit stops. Obviously the soft runners are going to stop before us. As you can see now, Stroll comes into the pits along with quite a few other drivers, so this is going to put us, let's have a look, maybe P5? No, it's going to put us P6. I believe, as long as we can hold on to position with Leclerc. We do pinch you on the apex a little bit. And Leclerc's on softs, so we can see the AI are already doing different strategies as Leclerc on the very same lap. It's just darting around us. Yeah. There's nothing I can really do against a Ferrari on fresh softs, but you can see the difference in strategy here. Leclerc's actually going for the 2-stop, going soft medium, whereas Hamilton and Verstappen behind are on the hards. So this could be interesting. Leclerc's got to make hay now, whilst his tyres are fresh, and he's got to pull away from Hamilton. He's got to hope that I hold Hamilton up quite a bit. But at the end of lap 10, it's time for our pit stop now onto a set of soft tyres, and we're going to be faster pretty much for the remaining 18 laps of the race, 19 laps of the race, because we're going to be on fresh softs. The Mercedes are going to pull a 20-second lead over us. I don't expect to be fighting them, although saying that, we have to stop. Yeah, no, the Mercedes is going to be gone. They're going to be 40 seconds ahead of us because we're having to make another 2 stops, so we won't be fighting them. But Leclerc we will be fighting. So if we can try and beat him this race, that would be good, as we get a massive snap of oversteer on the exits of the S section. And as my recording decides it wants to become a PowerPoint presentation, if it actually happens, that's fine. Verstappen's going to be looking to go per inside, going down the back straight. Hopefully we can defend from him. I believe we did. This is becoming very, I don't know whether it's going to actually be choppy, but it's very choppy for me at the moment in this preview window, as we're pitting on lap 12 now, going to go into the softs. Hopefully we can have a good stop from the boys, maybe even jump Raikkonen if it's a very good stop. I don't think we're close enough to him. As we come into the pit stop, and it's a 1.9 second stop, and we don't jump in, but we do get very close to Raikkonen, so maybe if we'd been a bit more aggressive on pit entry, could have potentially jumped him, as there's a massive kerfuffle going on here out of the pits of all the hard compound runners that have stopped. And as you can see, Stroll is actually on the hards. So this is interesting. Stroll effectively has a pit stops lead over us, being on the hard compound tyres. I have to stop again. So does Russell behind, but Russell's not really in the equation, as we're going to go for a move on Grosjean here. But I'm going to be on the soft, so I'm going to be significantly faster than Stroll, both in this stint and in the next soft tyre stint. So we're going to have to see what happens. This is shaping up to be quite a good end to the American, or the US Grand Prix. Hopefully we can get through these guys quickly and make it a stop as we dive to the inside of Stroll here. A little bit of wheel banging going on. but we managed to barge our way through. Pretty decent move there. The soft tyres showing their quality. As you can see now, Giovinazzi comes into the pits, I believe. I think that's for his first stop. He's pulled their softs a long way, and now we're going to go for a move on Raikkonen up into turn 1, go to the inside. Our soft's going to be a lot better than his mediums, even though we run massively wide. He's going to come back at us actually, but we're going to hold the inside for turn 2, I believe, and we're going to hold on to the position. Going into the S's, so we're making progress quite quickly, and now we've got to chase down Magnussen. Might catch up to the back of Gasly, but then Gasly is effectively 28 seconds ahead on the road, so it's going to be a task to get ahead of him. Now we've closed us back at closed us back at Magnussen to lap 14 now. Going on to lap 15, hopefully we're going to effect a move up the inside here. As you can see, we've closed up massively to Gasly, us two both on the soft compound tyres. Getting about a second a lap on the AlphaTauri driver. We perfect a pretty simple move there up the inside of Magnussen. At this point I was getting really into the groove of the car and into the track and getting stronger pace wise as the race goes on. Now we come to lap 16, just a couple of laps later, and we are right behind Gasly. As you can see, some of the 2-stop runners making their final stop onto the medium compound tyres, and we're going to be fighting I think over minimal points this race. As you can see, Leclerc has already made his final stop and he's 3 seconds up the road, so we're not going to be catching him. So at this point I'm thinking we might be able to get 11th with Gasly. We can maybe nick fastest lap off of Leclerc, so we've gone to lap 17. Now going down the back straight, we've got DRS. Going to deploy some overtake just because the AlphaTauri is a pretty quick car in a straight line, and we're going to hopefully go deciding which way to go. We're going to go to the outside this time. Around the outside, a little bit of contact, and we get the move done up into P11. There is Albon that's 4 seconds up the road, but then again we still have to make another stop, so it's going to be interesting. As you can see, Ricciardo and someone else as Perez have pitted, so potentially we could get Ricciardo if he's held up in traffic. Vettel's also pitted. You can see we just managed to get around the outside of him there, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to have about 9 or 10 laps on the soft compound tyres. As you can see now, we're cutting on to the end of lap 18, beginning of lap 19. Vettel's not shaping a well, he's going to be shaping a move, but we gain some more positions from the soft runners. We do another aggressive defence going to turn 1. So that puts Vettel off a bit and we get the inside and we hold on to the position. So the points could definitely be on the board, but we're going to have to push like mad in these final 9 laps of the races. We're coming to the pits for our second stop now, as we tapped the wall on the entry of the pit lane, but luckily we didn't get any damage. And let's hope we have another fantastic stop by the team. It looks like we're going to re-emerge maybe P14, P15. As you can see, a big glut of cars coming past us there. We're going to be 15th. Grosjean is going to get past us, and that's going to be P16, but Grosjean is on the hards, Ricciardo's on the mediums, so we should close up to those guys hopefully within a couple of laps, maybe 2 or 3 laps. As you can see, end of lap 20 we've actually caught up to the back of Grosjean now, and we're going to go for a pretty easy move into turn 1. We're going to look to the outside. Hopefully it doesn't put up too much of a fight here, because it's only going to cost us both time, and we're just going to hang the car around right at the outside. Pretty nice and simple move there. And now we're in P15. We're going to have to hopefully catch up to this train of cars, which we are doing, because we end lap 21 now with a fastest lap of the race of a 1:31.5, 1.8 seconds faster than any previous lap time we did, 3 purple sectors, so that should secure us our fastest lap for the race, which won't count for a point unless we get inside the top 10, so that's our task now. Next up on the list is 14th place Ricciardo, as we dive up the inside of him, making sure to not hit Sainz on the entry of turn 1, and that's another position. Now next up in line is Carlos Sainz. This is going to be a little overtaking montage here, because these soft tyres are at their probably at one of the best stages. They're not going to be too warm come the end of the stint. They're going to be at maybe like 40% max if I really wring the neck out of them. But we get the inside of Sainz there, pretty easy move. And next up is Stroll on the mediums, as we got past Stroll somewhere. I don't think I caught that. So we got past Stroll, and now we're getting up the side of Raikkonen, so that's going to be P11. And that's a pretty easy move. Now, we have 5 seconds to Gasly to make up, and I think we were maybe 10 or 15 seconds behind Gasly, but as we've gone to lap 26, I was pushing like mad those past few laps to catch up to Gasly. Luckily the soft tyres held out, and now we've got 2 laps remaining to try and make a move on Pierre. We look to the outside, he leaves us just enough room to squeeze around the outside, but we run massively deep into the corner, and he's going to hold on to the position. Going through the S's now, we're going to stick with him, we're just checking our engine temperatures, we're going to cool it down through the S's, make sure we've got best performance, probably going to the back straight is our best overtaking opportunity. We've got 55% ERS, so we don't need to worry about that, we can burn all of that for the remaining for this remaining lap and for the next lap. We're not going to catch Ocon ahead, he's too far ahead, unless a mistake of some kind happens, as Gasly brakes really late going into that corner, or brakes really early rather, catches us out a bit and we tag his rear end. So we're probably not going to get past him on this straight, but we are going to try and close up massively. As you can see, ever gaining on him. And we do go look for a move. It actually brakes so early again, and we nearly plow into the back of him. I probably broke very late as well, probably too late. But nothing happened on the rest of lap 27, and now on lap 28 is our final chance to get past Pierre Gasly. And this isn't just for 1 point, this is also to make our fastest lap count, which will not only help with the championship but also the rivalries. And as we're looking, Valtteri Bottas wins the race, and we go to the right hand side of Pierre. Looks like he was running low on ERS, and that was a pretty simple move once we actually go around to it. We've still got enough ERS for the rest of the lap, so we're just going to hopefully hold on now. Make sure we don't pick up any stupid penalties, make sure we don't spin or anything like that, and we should be down to get to 10th place with the fastest lap, so that'll be 2 points for the championship. It's not amazing, but it's definitely going to help, and it's definitely something good salvaged out this weekend after starting P22 as we ran the final corner. It's going to be 22nd place, 2 points, and I'm pretty happy with that. Say it's probably one of my weakest tracks to get 2 points out of this weekend to start from the back. I'm very happy with that. And this race, with Valtteri winning, getting 25 points, that has secured him the Drivers' Championship. Surprisingly, Valtteri has won something. Yeah, it came as a shock to me too, but he's had an absolutely stellar season. Hamilton hasn't really been anywhere, so he's going to be very happy with that. And now that that championship battle is over, let's hope in the final 3 races that we can start challenging them a bit more. Maybe he goes a bit more aggressive and maybe holds up some of the other drivers to help us out a bit. Yeah, overall a pretty decent race. Valtteri win the title. So season's pretty much over at this point now.
Out of their tyres at all times.
Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Red. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace.
So even though Hamilton got second place in that race, it wasn't enough to stop Valtteri's charge to the title. Jack Aitken managed to improve to 17th, so he's not really having a good run of things. As you can see, we're 7th in the championship, so we do actually have a potential. It is mathematically possible to get P3, but that's not really what I'm aiming for. I'm hopefully aiming to maybe keep 7th, but we'll have to see what Mexico brings. Constructors aiming to keep P5, try and go for best of the rest. If we can get P4, then we get P4. But it's going to be tough. However, the remaining 3 races are probably 3 of my strongest tracks. Well, Mexico is a very strong track for me, as has been proven via the 2 FTR races that we've done there. I'm sort of like the king of Mexico. So that's it's definitely going to help us out. I know that I did the Mexico race after I did the career mode Mexico race after I did the FTR race, so I do have a good setup for it. So I should be very strong there. Brazil is a decent track. I enjoy it. As you can see, we're just consolidating some upgrades here, adding simulator training for Jack to try and boost his progress a little bit more. And yeah, for the remaining 3 races, it's just all about consolidating upgrades and trying to get the most out of every single weekend we can. But yeah, that's it really. Abu Dhabi is also a very strong track for me. I have a very good setup for that track. See there, we're just looking at the standings. Now it's just working out how much I'd need to get for each race. You see Valtteri's had a very dominant season. But anyway, if you did enjoy round 19 for the US Grand Prix, please do leave a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you for round number 20 at the Mexican Grand Prix very soon.